Well, we're joined now by Emily Boyle for our press review. Emily, we're going to talk more about that abduction of Nicolas Maduro. It's obviously sent shockwaves through the press. What are the South American papers saying?
Well, the South American papers are obviously full of this news, but let's start in Venezuela with Venezuela News. This is the front page of their website today. It talks about Delcy Rodriguez, the now Venezuelan interim president, and discusses her first meeting with her ministers. It cites her as saying that her priority is to establish balanced and respectful relationship between Venezuela and the US. Meanwhile, El Nacional is also obviously covering this story here with a very different take. It calls on the Venezuelan people to resist American interference and compares Maduro's Venezuela to Charles de Gaulle's France. Finally, from Venezuela, opposition paper Tal Cual here is citing Edmundo Gonzalez, one of the candidates in the 2024 presidential elections. He urges the government to release political opponents, which he calls the regime's hostages.
Maduro's exfiltration, though, is mainly being condemned by South America.
Yes, so let's have a look at papers in South America in general, starting here with in Colombia with El Espectador. It says that Trump is not Venezuela's savior. It says, quote, showing off strength is easy, but rebuilding a country requires much more than a superhero story. Let's have a look at this Brazilian paper here, Folha de Sao Paulo. If I can get it to come up here. Okay, well, that's not coming up. Oh, there we go. It's here now. It says that this intervention looks a lot like the Iraq disaster. And finally, let's go to Cuba with the daily paper Granma here. It pays tribute to the Cuban fighters who died to defend Maduro and condemns the cowardly attack of the US against their sister nation.
All right, Emily, moving on now. And in Berlin, an arson attack over the weekend has caused widespread power cuts and chaos. What can you tell us about that?
Well, this is all over the German papers. Let's start with the Frankfurter Allgemeine here. It's this part here on the front page. Thousands of households in Berlin without power. The Tagesspiegel also has it on their front page. Days without light and warmth. It says that tens of thousands of people went without power or heating during this period of extreme cold. Now, the Tagesspiegel actually dedicated 2 pages in its paper to this story. This here is a photo of the fire and the infrastructure that was touched by this fire. This giant here, typical German word with 1 million letters, says community-oriented extreme left group claims responsibility for the attack. It's known as the Volcano Group, and in a statement it said that it was targeting a fossil fuel economy. Now, this article here on this page asks why it takes so long for the repairs to come in, and it also says that these cuts could last into Thursday. Now, Der Spiegel, still in Germany, has some of the answers when it comes to these repairs. It's also asking why are the repairs so complicated. It says that the extent of the damage is significant. In some places, repair crews are having to dig 14-meter long holes in the ground in the middle of the city in order to repair those cables. Finally, the Berliner Morgenpost has this article here. It says that 45,000 households were initially affected by the power cuts. As of Sunday evening, more than 10,000 houses have been reconnected.
Meanwhile, it was AI that was creating havoc over the weekend on the internet. Tell us more about that.
Yes, let's have a look at this article here in The Atlantic with quite a strong title, Elon Musk's pornography machine. This is obviously Elon Musk's AI chatbot Grok, which lost it over the weekend. An update meant that users on X, formerly Twitter, were able to reply to photos of people with requests to the chatbot, like take their clothes off or put them in a bikini. The AI chatbot would then generate non-consensual pornographic images, sometimes even of very young young children. Now, this article estimates that at one point, Grok was generating one of those images a minute over a period of 24 hours. Now, still talking about AI, but a slightly different angle, the Washington Post has this article looking at another effect of artificial intelligence. It says that talking to chatbots has led many people to descend into dangerous delusions. The question is now how to bring them back. Now, Human Line, for instance, is a community, an online messaging platform designed for people to talk about their AI-linked mental health issues with other humans. And it turns out the key to getting over AI chatbots is to chatting to other chatterboxes.
All right, and briefly, Emily, it's been a tough few days for the Swiss press, but today they have something to celebrate.
Yes, a little bit of hope or good news in what's otherwise been quite a few difficult days in Switzerland. This is news here that Le Temps is celebrating its 200th anniversary. Now, 200 years ago to the day, on the 5th of January 1826, the very first edition of the Journal de Genève was published. The Journal de Genève later on became The Temps in 1998. Now, this here is a photo of the workshops of the paper in around the 1900s, but we've also can take a look at the very first front page of the paper. Here, Journal de Genève, des lettres, des arts et de l'industrie, letters, arts and industry. Now, legend has it, it was started by a group of friends who met on the shores of Lake Geneva for a sing-along, for a little drink of wine, when a French poet called Charles Durand suddenly asked, why don't we start a newspaper? And the rest is history. But the Journal de Genève, or Le Temps, isn't the only mythical paper celebrating a milestone in 2026. The New York Times here hasn't quite made it to 200 years, but it will be celebrating its 175th anniversary in 2026. And most importantly, France 24 will be celebrating its 20th.
All right, Emily Boyle, thank you very much for that look at the press. Thank you too for watching. We'll take a short break and we'll be back after this.